Minutes.
Oh, yeah, the little runners. Yeah.
All right. I am showing 5 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. So we will start with roll call. Deborah, do you mind getting us started with roll call?
Yes, sir. Chair Rogers,
Present.
Vice Chair Turner Whiteley, Trustee Foyt,
Present.
Trustee Dukowski,
Present.
Trustee Waugh, Trustee Jones,
Present.
Trustee Sanchez, Trustee Williams Jr.,
Present.
Trustee Feldler,
Present.
Director Watson,
Here.
Attorney Wells.
Here.
We have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
No, we do not.
All right, we do not have. We will move to board action. Do I have a motion to accept the proposed agenda? Do we have a second?
Second. Trustee Foyt.
Trustee Fort second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We will move on to agenda item number 4, which is approval of the proposed minutes. Just one modification. We do have the Finance and Audit Committee meeting minute from September the 9th also to approve. So we will start with our regular Board of Trustees meeting for September 11, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve that agenda? The meeting minutes, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, we have a motion from Trustee
Foyt will second.
Ford second. Trustee Williams made the motion. Any questions before we call for the question? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the Finance and Audit Committee meeting minutes from September 9th, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we
Dutkowski.
have a second? The Trustee Dutkowski made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Williams made the second. Any questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We will move on to the trustees report. And my only update is regarding an item that we talked about at our last meeting regarding the executive director's contract is due to expire in February. And so we did approve for Mr. Cervico to engage with the executive director compensation market study. We expect to have that back before the board early November, from which we will develop a timeline with trustees to engage in the next steps concerning negotiating Executive Director Watson's next contract cycle. So we're looking forward to engaging in that work. Otherwise, I didn't have any other updates, but certainly trustees, if you have any questions of me concerning that process, certainly receptive to answering any questions.
I have a question. This is Elaine.
Yes, Trustee Sanchez.
I was just wondering if maybe we could just have a timeline, if somebody could send us a timeline of how we'll go about with those steps, what company we're using, and what the company is specifically going to be highlighting in their report.
Okay, we can work with Mrs. Cervico to share that information. It's going to be the same company that we used for our previous market studies for this position and the other leadership positions. And
Great.
then once we have that report, Trustee Sanchez, we're going to also create the timeline to engage Executive Director Watson on his contract renewal, and that will be board participation to help us develop that timeline and also participate in the process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I also have under my report, Las Vegas Clark County Library Foundation. I do not believe we have anyone present to give any updates there. Okay, so since we do not have anyone present, we will move on to the next agenda item, which is the Executive Director Watson's report.
Thank you, Chair Rogers. Submitted in the board packet includes my executive director's reports for August and September of 2025, as well as the most recent one for October 2025, including all of highlighting my meetings over the summer, as well as different events that I attended, and then the same for the current month. There's going to be, so I'm going to be traveling to the Library Journals Directors Summit next week, as well as a digital public library meeting in Seattle. And then the following week, I'll be at the Urban Libraries Council Forum. I will be speaking at the Library Journal event, as well as the Urban Libraries Council about activities that we've been doing at Las Vegas Clark County Library District, and sharing with my colleagues. So my report's as submitted, and I will take any questions from the board and Chair Rogers, any questions about my activities.
All right, I'll open it up to the board for any questions related to any of the reports that have been submitted.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. And my comment is just that thank you for being engaged in keeping Clark County Library District, recognized on a national level to go speak at these places and be asked to speak, puts us in a good spot, I think, to really be out front and have other libraries in other districts and other states and cities and folks use it as a model. So I appreciate you being able to be out there and represent.
Yes, and I'll echo that as well. I was in Columbus, Ohio last week, and I was speaking with some people on campus and just asking about their libraries and sharing with them sort of some of the things that we are doing with our public library system. And they said, yeah, we've heard about what you all are doing in Las Vegas. So the reach and impact that's happening here in Las Vegas is certainly, it spreads far and wide, in addition to what we talked about after the ALA conference in Philadelphia. So yeah, we appreciate all the work under your leadership and the team. So we're doing some amazing things that are inspiring other communities to follow us, as well as look at us as a resource for, best practices in this space. So, all right, fellow trustees, any other trustees have any questions, comments, questions?
I did, and I believe this fell under your report. I would like to compliment Rosalind Dean on her spectacular success with these recent grants that you wrote about, for that, to get 200,000 out of Chick-fil-A, which I don't know if most people know, but they're a very conservative ownership.
Yes.
And they're not necessarily middle of the road, but they gave us 200,000, which dazzles me. And you did also report on the grant, the federal grant appropriation that we got because of our two women senators, Jackie Rosen, up for re-election, and Catherine Cortez Masto. They're both such wonderful library supporters, but that's a lot of money. Very impressive. Thank you.
The floor is open, fellow trustees, if you wanted to make any comments or call in reports.
Just one question on the executive director report. This is Elaine Sanchez.
Yes, trustee
Kelvin,
Cortez.
yes, I just wanted to ask, where are we at as the Las Vegas Library District in regards to our conversations with the foundation? I know you mentioned that you had a meeting on your
So
report.
the last conversations that were had with the foundation regarding the agreement was back in May of this year, which that meeting was attended by myself and Chair Rogers. And as of, and Council Welt, and we reported out in, I believe, our June meeting, and as well, that they had not come back to us with any information. Probably, and I don't have the date in front of me, but probably about a month or two ago, I sent an email over to President Ortiz to ask him where they were with communication in providing us that information. I included Chair Rogers on that email, and as of today, I have yet to hear back a response.
Okay.
And I'll go into a little bit more detail, Trustee Sanchez.
Oh, sure.
We were fundamentally in agreement with maybe 90% of the agreement, the draft agreement that had sort of been shared with the board here. And the main things that were being still negotiated was just getting agreement on the scope of work in terms of the deliverables that the foundation would provide. And then additionally, what startup capital would be needed for them to start up with. And we countered them with some other numbers, and we asked them to provide us more details to help justify the number that they were proposing. And so we've still been waiting for them to come back with those numbers so that we could have some follow-up discussions. And we just reiterated our motivation to get this agreement signed so both organizations can move forward in partnership. And so we're just in a holding pattern, waiting for them.
Is it possible for us to ask ahead of time if they can maybe come to our next meeting, to invite them to our next meeting?
We can reach out, but they do know that they have an open invitation. That's why we included them on the agenda. So they know that there's an open invitation for them to come to the meetings and present. And I believe that Trustee Sanchez, that was at your request that we add them, so they know that they are a part of our agenda.
No, but I mean, I would like to have like, invite them and to have an agenda item to discuss this matter, to see where we're at. So that's what I'm saying. But yeah. Because
We can reach
at
out
some
to,
point,
President.
at some point, we need to figure out what's going on. That's all I'm saying. And that's why I was asking, because it was on his report that he had a meeting. So I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, the only thing that we know is that they did ask for some support with launching a search for, I believe, an executive director position for the foundation. So that's the extent of the communication from them to us, and we did provide that support for their search.
Okay, thank you.
I'm counting my Mississippis. Okay, well, no other comments from other trustees on any other reports. So we will close out the library reports, and then we will move on to unfinished business, which I do not suspect we have anything under unfinished business. So we will move on to agenda item number 8, which is new business. We have the consent agenda. The consent agenda may be approved in its entirety by a motion, or individual items may be considered separately. So I'll initially ask for the board, do we need to separate the items, or are we comfortable with moving forward with them as a consent agenda?
I'm comfortable going forward. I read it all.
All right. Do one of the board members want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent. Or approve it.
Do we have a second?
A second, Asha. John.
And then just to read what those items are, number 1 is going to be paid holidays for the Library District 2026. And then secondly, the contract award for audio equipment and accessories for the new West Las Vegas libraries. All right, are there any questions, or are we ready to call for the question of the vote? All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as submitted, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving to agenda item, regular agenda, we have nothing there. We do not have anything for executive session. So we will move to our agenda item number 10, which is announcements. And that is the Finance and Audit Committee meeting will be held, the next meeting will be held Thursday, November 6th, 2025 at 1 p.m. via Zoom. And as a reminder, all board members are invited to participate. So I know we do regularly have some members attend, so certainly it's a wealth of information. Floresto and team do a phenomenal job with laying out the financials. So if you have any curiosity about where we stand financially, certainly you're welcome to come to that meeting. I'm sorry, I'm just going to the next page. And then also we have the next November board meeting will be held Thursday, November 13th at 5 p.m. at Clark County Library at our East Flamingo location. And the December board meeting will be held Thursday, December 11th at the Whitney location. And the January board meeting will be held at the Summerlin Library. And just as we look at those dates, I presume we've already taken into account the holidays, so we don't need to make any adjustments.
Chair, I have a question based on the meetings. I know we, a month or two ago, we had a discussion regarding those upcoming meetings, and did we land on anywhere where we were going to narrow down the locations, or we were going to continue as is with rotating them? I don't know what we actually voted or landed on.
Okay, I'll defer to
Matt and I. So we put together, which we'll be sharing with the board, some suggested locations that have been selected for the board to see that we, since the board didn't land on anything,
right,
and we had to select places, we selected locations alternating between the new West Las Vegas Library and other libraries, and the Windmill Library, East Las Vegas, and I'm not sure which one. I can't think of the other one back.
Sure. Sure. Good evening, Chair Rogers, Board of Trustees, Council Director Watson. Good evening. Director Watson's request, we put together a proposed list. I believe there were a couple different options that the board could choose from at this time. We are holding locations primarily at the Windmill Library in the auditorium. But then I think on a quarterly basis, we're looking at locations all throughout the Vegas Valley area. So I believe it is East Vegas, Clark County, I think Sahara West and West Las Vegas.
I guess I would make a suggestion to have this on our next agenda so that we can have whatever those 1, 2, 3 options are, so that we can actually vote on something, so that we can move forward at least by next year on where those meetings will be held at.
There was more than a bit of discussion in the fact that the Windmill Library, while it is the administrative headquarters, is generally the furthest away from most people's either work or home locations. I mean, for me, depending on traffic, it's 45 to 50 minutes to get
Sure.
there.
And
There's
that's,
no quick way to
I
get
think a
there.
big reason why staff wanted to provide you multiple options for consideration. We also, within one of the reports, I think noted that a lot of the meetings have become more accessible since we've been broadcasting them and for people to be able to tune in and also view recorded viewings on YouTube. But whatever the board would like to do, we'd be happy to serve your needs for future board meetings.
I think it's good to
Trustee
get
Wood,
out into the community. I really do. I mean, we have a lot of locations and some people, for whatever their schedule is, they don't always get to see all the wonderful things that are going on in a variety of locations. And some of them are smaller. You know, we're not going to go to Mount Charleston. I understand that as a group, but they're, you know, the Sunrise Library, for example, if we were going east and so on.
There are certain locations that
Enterprise
we
is
did
great.
identify in the report that I provided. I think it was at maybe the last meeting or two. There are certain locations, in order for us to have a meeting, such as like at Sunrise Library, we would have to shut the youth services area down for about a day or two, just to accommodate the size and all of the needs, the technical needs. And so then there would be, you know, an impact to the
Yeah,
to the
it's
service.
disruptive.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So, but we can do whatever you'd like.
I just think we're getting deep into the weeds. I just wanted to find out if we can have those options, Chair, for the next meeting, so that then we can be prepared to vote on something so we can move forward.
yes, thank you for bringing that topic back up. I do know that when we did discuss it, maybe 2 or 3 board meetings ago, that there wasn't agreement or consensus in terms of the varying options. Do we continue to go to all the different locations, or do we consolidate to one location, or do we maybe to the rotation that Matt shared, do we do Windmill every 3 or 4 months and rotate the other ones in? So we did ask for Executive Watson and Matt to come back with some options for us to review and consider. So we just had some slippage and me following up with getting it on the agenda. So we can certainly target that for our November meeting to bring it before the board, and we can agree and move forward there. After, that will be what, starting in February. So
Thank you.
thank you, Matt.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Darrell, do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
Chair, we do not.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Foyt, second.
All right. We are officially adjourned at 5:20.
Incredible.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
I think that was it.
Hard to believe.
I said 20 minutes. I said 20 minutes. I said we should be done in 20 minutes, right? Actually, I just approved, I was out. Right. So I just approved Matt going forward. You guys have made. Right. So Matt, literally, we just did it.
Yeah.
We just did it last week.
I've got a pen.
When he brought it up and was talking about that,